What's up guys, Grim here. If you had left a comment in the comment section below in my last Saturday video, then you are entered into our latest giveaway. And the winner of that giveaway is... bam, right there. Enjoy your prize. We will be getting a hold of you shortly to see exactly what you want. And this starts week 4 of these giveaways. What it is anything you want from the Rift store. Yes, that means the giant bags, the Dream Soul bundles, whatever you want from the Rift store. The only restriction is that we want to keep it around the 5,000 credit mark or less, and it has to be a giftable item. So to be entered into this giveaway, all you have to do is leave your character name and server in the comment section below this very video, and you will be entered into this giveaway. And also, you must be subscribed to my channel. Show me some love, I show you guys some love, and everybody wins. All of these 10-week giveaways are provided by the guild Godlike Awesomeness, so make sure that you let them know how much you appreciate them supporting my channel and giving you guys some great prizes. The winners will be selected in the next Saturday video. Good luck everyone. Rasmussen, man, what are you doing? Dude, I have never had anybody give me 3 wrecks at once. You are unbelievable, sir. And in his message, he says, thanks for all your videos, bro. Man, thank you so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it, man. What's up guys, Grim here. Today I'm going to be interviewing Gankt, which is a multi-time Godlike Arena winner and a very popular rogue in the PvP scene. He's very much respected and we're very glad to have him here today so we can find out what kind of builds he enjoys running, what he recommends for you guys to run, and maybe we can get a build or two specific from him as well as macros. So what's going on, Gankt? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hey everybody. Well, I've been playing Rift since beta actually, and took a little bit of a break, but I think it's got the best PvP out there right now. I wish it had some arenas or something else to do, but the soul system was always very attractive to me, and just being able to come up with builds like we're going to talk about today, and you know, just the difference between this game and the other games is that everything isn't all the same between all the classes, and it's what's kept me here.
Alright, so we're just going to go over a few questions. I'm kind of curious how you feel Rift's PvP stacks with compares to other games such as the Worlds of Warcraft or SWTOR, or anything else that you might have any kind of experience with. You know, the CCs in Rift are much smaller, the durations are less, and all of that. Do you think it's a good thing to not have PvP balanced around CCs?
Yes. I mean, I played WoW for about 6-7 years, so I played a lot of WoW before Rift, and I did arenas in WoW. I was Gladiator in the first couple seasons and just really didn't enjoy it anymore, and basically left WoW because they got rid of the talent trees, you know. So I think that it's still fun, it has its place, but I think that as far as CC goes, I mean, getting debilitated all the time is enough. I don't also need to be polyed and disarmed and silenced and whatever on different DRs. It's just too much.
Alright, so I'm curious what your thoughts on the current state of PvP in Rift. Do you think that it needs to be balanced a little bit towards a certain direction, or do you think that it's just fine the way it is?
I definitely think it's a little broken right now. There's just the healing thing is a little broken right now. I think that there's too many of them, and the way people go in and the way warfronts are balanced with, you know, some experienced people, some inexperienced people. The inexperienced people could probably do a lot more with their with their character or their tune while they're in there. They just don't know how or what they should be doing. You know, for example, with all the physicians, you know, Doms used to be the answer for the healers, and you could go in garbage gear as a Dom and shut down a healer, and, you know, you're fine. Well, if you go in greens and try to kill a physician, you're not going to kill him. You really should be trying to CC the physician or debilitate the physician and kill other people. But they're kind of not really knowing what to do and beating on a tank, you know, and when you have half your team doing that, it's really hard, and with 4 or 5 healers on a team, you just can't do that. You need coordination you're just not going to get in a Warfront, so I don't really know how Tryon is going to deal with limiting the cross heals and make it more enjoyable, because I mean, I can't really blame somebody with 20k health that's a rogue that's just going to go in there and not be able to kill anyone, so they play physician, and now there's 8 healers on the team and nobody dies. It's no fun for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's experienced that quite a bit lately. It's pretty hard to put together those killing streaks like they used to. So,
Yeah.
I'm curious, what all do you enjoy the most? I mean, now that we've got the 3v3 tournaments going, we've got the 5v5s, and what's your thoughts? Do you think that you enjoy the 3v3, 5v5, Warfronts, Conquest? What's your favorite thing to do?
I mean, I like to do everything, but I do enjoy the 3s and the 5s because it's new, it's different, and, you know, you can really see what people are doing in different skill levels, and, you know, the way people use comps and such that you can't really see in CQ and a Warfront because there's so many people. The effect that you have on a Warfront with a group, you know, it depends on what's on the other team. You know, you can go in 5 people, and if they just stack healers, your 5 people doesn't do anything, you know. So I definitely do enjoy the 3s and the 5s, and in different ways. I think the 5s are way more balanced, but it's harder to get as many people to do it because it's just the sheer number of people you need. And 3s are just completely comp based, and takes a lot of planning. It's a fun thing to do too.
Yeah. So, before we get into these builds and everything, I kind of have to ask you, what do you feel is the most powerful class and spec in the game right now? I know you play Assassin Rogue most of the time and switch it up quite often, but what is the most powerful class and spec to you?
Paragon. Without a doubt, Paragon. And the new Pyro is going to be on the same level when that comes off the PTS if they don't change it.
Alright. Sounds good. Alright guys, now we're going to ask Gankt exactly what kind of builds that we should be running, and hopefully he can give a little bit of insight into how to be a very good PvPer in this game. So Gankt, what is the build that you're going to show us today? What's the souls that we're going into?
Well, I guess we're going to talk about 61 Sin, so we'll start there. There's a bunch of options you can go with the off souls that change whether you have survivability or more damage. So I guess starting with survivability, if you have really bad gear and you're worried about dying, you can put the extra 15 points into Riftstalker. You'll get more health. Your damage will be considerably lower, but you'll be able to survive. It's definitely going to be better for somebody without a lot of gear, doing like a 1v1 in a situation like that. But if you have a healer, if you have a little bit of gear, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not enough damage and not enough utility. So your other options are to go into Blade Dancer and Marksman, which is what I do most of the time. Blade Dancer, you're going to get Weapon Barrage, which is an interrupt and debilitate, and in Marksman you're going to get a ranged attack and a range finisher that increases your speed. So paired with that, and you get another charge with Blade Dancer too, so the disconnect, you don't have as many disconnects because of the ranged ability and the extra speed. You have the interrupt, so if you're on a healer you can stop them from casting. You get defensives with sidesteps, so it just brings a lot to what you can do as opposed to just only having one charge and, you know, just your regular builders and finishers.
Okay, so since the first build you mentioned was with the Riftstalker variation, 15 points into it, where would you put the 15 points for those wishing to go with this particular spec?
All right. Well, so the first thing about rogues is a lot of your damage is coming. Well, most of your damage is coming from weapon damage. So anytime you have an offsoul that's giving you attack power and weapon damage, which is in the first tier of Riftstalker, is what you want to do. Armor really doesn't have much of an effect, so put the 5 points in Unseen Fury. Put the other 5 in Great Fortitude to give yourself 10% more health. And now you have some options. If you're actually killing people a considerable amount, you can put 3 in boosted recovery, so every time you kill somebody it's going to heal you a little bit. You could put all 5 in planar boost if you want, because it increases damage done. You could put 1 in shadow assault and take 1 out of planar boost, so you have a teleport to somebody for so now you have a charge from assassin and a teleport, and you could macro those 2 together if you want to make it a little bit easier. So the first time you hit it you charge, the second time you hit it you teleport.
Okay.
But I think that's about it with the 15 in Riftstalker.
All right.
You don't really have too many other options than that. You don't want the resist and you don't want the armor.
All right, sounds good. And let's see what we can come up with on macros from you.
So with Sin, you could macro a lot more than you should, for sure. Realistically, the things that most people do is they'll macro Threat of Death, Jagged Strike, Serpent Strike, Backstab, and Savage Strike. You can increase your damage by not macroing Thread and Jagged and Serpent, and not putting Poison Malice in there and not putting your stun in there, but you could. It just, it depends on how much you can manage with your keybinds or your mouse or whatever you have.
Okay, so what do you recommend? We'll make a macro according to what you want to put together here.
Are you looking for ease of use, or are you just looking for the macro that I have?
Let's go with what you have.
Alright, I have Cast Expose Weakness, Cast Serpent Strike, Cast Backstab, Cast Savage Strike.
Alright. Is there any particular one that you keep track of with the show? Show command?
Savage Strike. The other things that you can macro, definitely macro both of your charges together if you have multiple. So charges or teleports you can macro together. I don't recommend macroing the defensive abilities together. You should try and stagger them. So if you have sidesteps and Enduring Brew, you shouldn't use them at the same time. I guess you could macro a health pot with brew if you wanted to. You could macro cleanse soul with slip away, or if you wanted to, I usually save it, but you could do that. You could macro hidden veil with slip away, so that goes up when you slip.
Alright. Now, here's a question. Some people have mixed opinions on the whole cleanse soul or using enduring brew or any of that right before you slip away. I'm kind of the thought that if you slip away, you're usually in a lot of trouble. You're dotted up. You're trying to get out ASAP. There's probably AoE hitting you, all kinds of stuff. So I usually throw in a lot of stuff all together, like the heal, the cleanse soul, to get out of there and hopefully not die. Do you think that's a very good strategy, or do you prefer to go a different route than something like that?
You know, it really just depends on the situation. I actually have both of them bound. I mean, I have a macro that binds Cleansel and Slip together, but I only use that if I'm covered in dots. The problem is if you use that all the time, if you don't have magic abilities on you that you need to pull off, then you don't have it if you get popped out of stealth and you need to fight. So it's really kind of situational. If you can afford to have 2 buttons instead of 1, that's fine. But I mean, I think it's better to just macro, or not macro, or bind Cleanse Soul and Slip separately, and macro Hidden Veil with Slip. So Hidden Veil goes up when you slip, but you can Cleanse Soul with the other button if you want, just in case you need to save it.
Alright. So is this pretty much the only macro you use, or do you, besides the charges and all that stuff?
It depends on how much you can manage. It really does. I mean, what I would say is somebody just starting out, you know, that isn't used to playing MMOs or isn't used to having 20 keybinds or whatever, you can throw a lot more in there. You could throw your stun in there. You could throw poison malice in there. You could throw threat of death and jagged strike in there, but your damage is considerably lower. It just depends on how you want to play. If you're just starting out, you can put more in it and slowly remove stuff. I mean, me personally, I had all that stuff in there at one point. Most people did. But, you know, start adding keybinds as you get used to, or you get muscle memory with how you're playing, and remove the stuff.
Do you have a particular skill that you like to use with Threat of Death? I know some people like to go with Jagged Strike afterwards. Some people use it for Paralyzing Strike. What is it that you usually hit afterwards?
I always use it with Jagged.
Always with Jagged. Alright.
It's the highest damage.
Now, with your out of stealth opener, do you usually open up with Paralyzing Strike or with Jagged Strike?
Well, I open up with either Assassinate or Jagged. It depends, but since I don't have Thread and Jagged in my macro, I open with Jagged, and then once the Jagged falls off, Thread and Jagged again. So you're getting more Jaggeds in there. If you put it in the macro, you're losing one.
Alright. What all do you use for buffs? What's the poisons that you put on and all of that good stuff?
Well, the only poison that you're always going to have is Malicious Poison. I mean, it's the highest damage poison, and even though it doesn't have an effect with it, you always want to have that. Debilitating Poison is so strong that honestly, no matter who I'm fighting, even if it's not a caster, I usually have that up as well. After that, it depends on whether you have a healer or not. If you don't have a healer, you should use Leeching Poison to give yourself the health. If you do have a healer, or if you have the, you know, depending on who you're fighting, you want the damage, put up Lethal Poison for the crit.
Alright. Now, another question that I have to ask is, do you manage all of your bleeds, or do you don't bother with one or the other? I know some people don't put on all 3 bleeds. Some people like to have all 3. What's your opinion on it?
I put all 3 on. I mean, assuming I'm not fighting somebody with 20k health that doesn't have any gear where the bleeds won't tick, you know, I can just kill them with Final Blow. But your bleeds are should be your highest damage aside from poisons, so you should absolutely keep Impale up, keep Puncture up, and keep Jagged up as much as you can. You're going to have much higher DPS output, and just fill in Final Blow when the bleeds drop, or when the bleeds are up.
Alright.
Alright, so I made a macro that's got a little bit more in it for people just starting out, and it is Expose Weakness, Threat of Death, Jagged Strike, Serpent Strike, Backstab, and Savage Strike. Okay, so I mean basically what you're gonna do after you open from stealth, it's very rinse repeat with Sin. So after you open up with like Assassinate or Jagged, whichever you're doing, I went with Assassinate. You put up Impale right away, put up Puncture, spam your build, hit Final Blow. So really you're just managing the bleed and filling in with Final.
Alright guys, I hope you learned a lot from speaking with Gankt here and him sharing the build and some of his advanced knowledge with you all. And I'm basically going to end this off with, do you have any last words to say, Gankt?
Well, thanks Grim, appreciate it, hope everybody gets something out of this. Definitely encourage everybody to watch Grim's videos and hit up Godlike Awesomeness arenas, get involved in some of the smaller scale PvP that you can do in this game, and I wish everybody the best of luck.
Alright, and if you guys enjoyed this interview with Gankt, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, make sure that you hit the like, that way we know you like this type of video, and you never know, we might be able to get Gankt back on for another interview and maybe another build in the future. You guys have just got to support it. Alright, as usual guys, my name is Grim, and I'll see you next time.